You are not tired because life is hard. You are tired because your mind never stops running on autopilot. The moment you enter alpha level, the noise disappears, your power awakens, and reality begins listening to your thoughts. In the next 5 minutes, you can shift from mental chaos to complete control over your destiny. Most people wake up every morning and immediately surrender their mind to the same cycle, the same thoughts, the same worries, the same emotional reactions. They open their eyes, grab their phone, scroll through negativity, replay old failures, and unknowingly train their brain to repeat yesterday again and again. They believe they are making conscious choices, but in reality, they are moving through life mechanically. Their habits decide their future before they even think about it. This is the hidden prison of autopilot. It does not scream for attention because it feels normal. It quietly steals dreams while a person remains completely unaware. Day after day, the mind runs old programs built from fear, doubt, stress, and limitation. The dangerous part is that most people never stop long enough to realize their life is being controlled by unconscious patterns. Your mind was never designed to live trapped inside survival mode. It was designed to create, imagine, heal, focus, and transform reality. But when the brain stays overloaded with noise, distractions, and emotional chaos, your deeper power becomes buried under mental static. You begin reacting instead of creating. You start surviving instead of directing your future. That is why so many people feel exhausted even when they have done nothing physically demanding. Their energy is constantly leaking through uncontrolled thinking. Every negative memory replayed in the mind drains strength. Every fearful thought weakens confidence. Every repeated doubt reinforces limitation. The mind accepts repetition as truth, even when that truth is destroying your potential. The moment you remain unconscious of your mental patterns, the outside world begins programming you. Social media programs you. Fear programs you. Negative people program you. Bad experiences program you. Slowly, your identity becomes shaped by external noise instead of internal power. You stop believing in what is possible because your subconscious mind has been conditioned to expect struggle. You may want success consciously, but deep inside, the hidden programming keeps pulling you back toward comfort zones, fear, procrastination, and self-doubt. That inner conflict is what keeps millions of people stuck in the exact same place year after year. But the instant you interrupt autopilot, everything begins changing. The moment you slow your mind and become aware of your thoughts, you take back control of your inner world. Awareness is the first doorway to power. Once you observe your thinking, instead of obeying it, the old patterns begin losing control over you. This is why entering alpha level is so powerful. It allows you to move beyond surface chaos and access the deeper state where transformation truly begins. In that calm mental state, your mind becomes more open, focused, creative, and programmable. Instead of reacting emotionally to life, you begin consciously directing your energy. The greatest breakthroughs in life never happen when the mind is overloaded with noise. They happen in stillness. They happen when distraction disappears and inner clarity awakens. The people who transform their lives are not always the smartest or strongest. They are the ones who learn how to control their inner state instead of allowing the outer world to control them. Once you master your attention, you stop being a victim of old programming. You stop repeating emotional cycles that keep you trapped. You begin choosing thoughts that strengthen you instead of weaken you. Your future changes the moment your mind stops running automatically and starts operating intentionally. The battle is not outside of you. The real battle is between unconscious repetition and conscious creation. The moment you break free from autopilot, you no longer drift through life blindly. You become the one directing the course of your destiny. The world around you is constantly demanding your attention. Notifications, conversations, problems, pressure, fear, noise, endless information flowing every second. Most people have become so addicted to stimulation that silence feels uncomfortable to them. The moment everything becomes quiet, they instantly reach for distraction because they are afraid of facing their own thoughts. But the deeper truth is this: your greatest power can never awaken in noise. Your deepest clarity can never emerge while your mind is crowded with chaos. The outer world is always trying to pull your focus away from yourself because distraction weakens awareness. A distracted mind is easy to control, easy to manipulate, and easy to keep trapped inside ordinary living. When your attention is scattered in every direction, your energy becomes fragmented. You may physically sit in one place, but mentally, you are everywhere at once. Thinking about the past, worrying about the future, replaying conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios, carrying emotional tension from yesterday. This constant mental movement keeps the brain trapped in high alert survival mode. In that state, your intuition weakens, creativity slows down, and inner peace disappears. The mind becomes reactive instead of powerful. That is why so many people feel disconnected from themselves. They have lost the ability to enter stillness. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is power waiting to be activated. The moment you intentionally disconnect from external noise, something incredible begins happening inside your mind. At first, you notice resistance. Your thoughts may race louder. Random worries may appear. Emotional tension may surface. That is because the subconscious mind finally has space to reveal what has been hidden underneath constant distraction. Most people run from this moment, but this moment is actually the beginning of transformation. The noise was never protecting you. It was only covering the deeper patterns controlling your life. When you sit quietly, breathe slowly, and withdraw your attention from the outer world, your nervous system begins calming down. Your brain waves gradually slow, and your mind starts shifting into a more relaxed state. This is where clarity begins returning. Your thoughts stop controlling you with the same intensity. Your emotions become less overwhelming. You start observing instead of reacting. In this stillness, you reconnect with the part of yourself that has always existed beneath fear and stress. The answers you were searching for outside suddenly begin appearing within. The most powerful ideas are born in silence. The strongest intuition rises in silence. Healing begins in silence. Mental reprogramming begins in silence. Every great transformation starts the moment a person becomes still enough to hear their deeper mind speaking. Most people spend their entire lives listening to the outside world while ignoring the intelligence already living inside them. But once you learn to silence the external chaos, your inner world becomes stronger than external circumstances. There is a reason why focused individuals protect their mental environment carefully. They understand that whatever repeatedly enters the mind eventually shapes reality. Constant negativity creates fear. Constant distraction destroys focus. Constant noise weakens inner vision. But silence sharpens awareness. Silence strengthens concentration. Silence restores emotional power. In silence, your subconscious mind becomes more receptive to the images, beliefs, and thoughts you choose to plant within it. You do not need to escape the world forever. You only need a few moments each day where you intentionally disconnect from everything external and reconnect with yourself. Those moments become the foundation of mental mastery. The outer world may remain chaotic, but your inner state no longer depends on external conditions. That is true power. The person who can remain calm while the world is noisy becomes unstoppable because their energy is no longer controlled by distraction. The moment silence stops feeling uncomfortable and starts feeling empowering, you begin awakening the deeper force that has been waiting inside you all along. Most people underestimate the power of their breath because it happens automatically every moment of their lives. They breathe without awareness, without intention, without realizing that the breath is directly connected to the state of the mind. The way you breathe affects your emotions, your focus, your nervous system, and even the thoughts you continuously experience. Fast, shallow breathing keeps the body trapped in tension and survival mode. Slow, controlled breathing sends a signal to the brain that it is safe to relax. This simple shift changes everything happening inside you. The breath becomes the bridge between the conscious mind and the deeper subconscious state where transformation begins. When stress takes over, breathing becomes rapid and unstable. The body prepares for danger, even if no real danger exists. The mind becomes restless, emotional, and reactive. Thoughts begin racing uncontrollably. Fear grows stronger because the nervous system remains activated. Most people live in this condition every single day without realizing it. Their bodies are constantly tense, their minds overloaded, and their energy drained. They search everywhere for peace, while ignoring the most powerful tool they already possess. Your breath is the doorway back to control. The moment you consciously slow your breathing, the entire inner system begins responding. Your heartbeat gradually steadies. Your muscles loosen. Mental noise starts fading. The body shifts from survival mode into relaxation. This is not imagination. This is a direct biological response happening within your nervous system. Every deep breath tells the brain that it can stop fighting invisible battles. Every slow exhale releases emotional tension stored inside the body. With each breath, you begin moving further away from chaos and closer to clarity. This is why controlled breathing is one of the fastest ways to enter alpha level. You cannot force the mind into peace through struggle. You guide it there gently through rhythm and awareness. When you focus completely on your breath, your attention stops scattering in every direction. The mind becomes anchored in the present moment. Thoughts lose their grip because awareness is no longer feeding them with emotional energy. Instead of chasing mental noise, you begin observing calmly. That observation alone starts slowing brain activity naturally. As your breathing deepens, a different feeling begins emerging inside you. The pressure starts disappearing. Your awareness becomes sharper yet calmer at the same time. The outside world fades into the background while your inner world becomes more vivid. This is the doorway where creativity increases, intuition strengthens, and subconscious programming becomes more accessible. In this state, your mind becomes highly receptive to new beliefs, visualizations, and emotional conditioning. The breath is not just relaxing you, it is preparing your mind for transformation. Most people wait for life to calm down before they feel peaceful. Powerful people learn how to create peace within themselves regardless of external conditions. The breath allows you to do that instantly. In the middle of stress, confusion, or emotional overload, you can regain control simply by returning to conscious breathing. The moment you take control of your breath, you interrupt fear, you interrupt panic, you interrupt negative momentum. You stop feeding the emotional storms that normally control your reactions. Every master of mental control understands this hidden truth. The mind follows the breath. If the breath is chaotic, the mind becomes chaotic. If the breath is calm, the mind begins settling into stillness. That stillness is where inner power awakens. The breath becomes more than oxygen entering the body. It becomes a tool for rewiring your state of consciousness. Every intentional inhale fills you with awareness. Every slow exhale removes mental clutter. And with enough focus, the breath carries you beyond ordinary thinking into a state where your mind becomes clear, focused, powerful, and fully aligned with the reality you want to create. Most people try to change their life only through physical action while completely ignoring the hidden world where all transformation truly begins. They work harder, push themselves endlessly, repeat the same routines, yet deep inside, nothing changes because the subconscious programming remains the same. The outer world is always reflecting the inner condition of the mind. If fear dominates internally, fear eventually appears externally. If doubt lives within you, hesitation controls your actions. If limitation exists in the subconscious, opportunities are unconsciously avoided even when they appear directly in front of you. This is why two people can have the same opportunities, the same resources, and the same potential, yet create completely different lives. Their inner programming is different. The alpha level is powerful because it allows you to reach the deeper part of the mind where those programs exist. In ordinary waking consciousness, the mind is distracted, analytical, and overloaded with mental noise. Thoughts move rapidly, emotions react instantly, and the subconscious remains protected behind constant activity. But when you enter alpha level, the brain slows down into a calm, focused, highly receptive state. In that moment, the door between conscious thought and subconscious belief begins opening. This is where real change becomes possible. Your subconscious mind does not argue with repetition. It accepts what is emotionally impressed upon it. Every repeated thought, every strong emotion, every mental image slowly becomes part of your internal programming. Most people unknowingly program themselves negatively every single day. They constantly repeat thoughts like, I'm not good enough, nothing ever works for me, life is hard, or success is for other people. Even if those words are never spoken aloud, the subconscious absorbs the emotional message behind them. Over time, the mind begins creating behaviors, reactions, and decisions that match those beliefs. The person then believes life itself is against them, when in reality, they are living through unconscious programming installed over years of repetition. In alpha level, this cycle can begin changing. Because the mind becomes relaxed and receptive, new ideas can penetrate deeper into the subconscious. This is why visualization becomes so powerful in that state. When you clearly imagine yourself confident, successful, peaceful, healthy, or fulfilled while feeling those emotions intensely, the subconscious starts treating those images as real experiences. The brain responds to vivid emotional imagery almost the same way it responds to physical reality. That means the more consistently you enter alpha and emotionally rehearse the reality you desire, the more your internal programming begins shifting toward that new identity. At first, the external world may not immediately change, but something inside you starts transforming. Your reactions become different. Your confidence grows stronger. Your focus sharpens. Opportunities you once ignored suddenly become visible. Fear begins losing control over your decisions. You stop acting from limitation and start acting from belief. This inner shift is what eventually changes outer circumstances. Reality changes because your perception, energy, and behavior change first. Most people spend years trying to force external success while carrying internal failure programming. That internal conflict creates frustration because the subconscious always pulls a person back toward what feels familiar. Alpha level interrupts that cycle by giving you direct access to the deeper mind where habits, beliefs, and emotional patterns are formed. Once you learn to impress empowering thoughts into the subconscious consistently, your entire reality begins reorganizing around those new mental instructions. Your mind is not a passive observer of life. It is an active creator shaping the direction of your experiences every single day. The thoughts you repeat become beliefs. Beliefs become actions. Actions become habits. Habits create destiny. Alpha level allows you to step into the control room of your own consciousness and rewrite the programs that have silently controlled your life for years. The moment your subconscious begins working for you instead of against you, your reality starts transforming from the inside out. Most people think thoughts are harmless because they cannot physically see them. They treat thinking like random mental activity with no real consequence, yet every thought carries energy, direction, and influence over the subconscious mind. The brain is constantly listening to the words, images, and emotions repeated internally throughout the day. Whether those thoughts are empowering or destructive, the subconscious accepts them as instructions. This is why your inner dialogue quietly shapes the quality of your entire life. Long before reality changes externally, it first changes invisibly within the mind. Every repeated thought becomes a command sent to the subconscious. If you constantly think about failure, the mind begins preparing for failure. If you repeatedly focus on fear, the body reacts as though danger already exists. If you continuously tell yourself you are weak, unlucky, or incapable, the subconscious starts organizing your emotions and behaviors around those beliefs. Most people unknowingly hypnotize themselves negatively every single day. They replay painful memories, imagine worst-case scenarios, and emotionally rehearse defeat without realizing they are strengthening those patterns inside the brain. Over time, those thoughts stop feeling like temporary mental activity and begin feeling like permanent identity. The dangerous part is that the subconscious does not judge whether a thought is good or bad. It simply responds to repetition and emotional intensity. Whatever you consistently feed the mind grows stronger. Fear grows through focus. Confidence grows through focus. Doubt grows through focus. Power grows through focus. Your attention acts like energy flowing toward a destination, and wherever that energy repeatedly flows, mental pathways become stronger. That is why many people remain trapped inside the same emotional cycles for years. They continue mentally commanding the same experiences without realizing it. In the alpha state, thoughts become even more powerful because the subconscious mind becomes highly receptive. The conscious mind relaxes its resistance, mental noise decreases, and your deeper mind becomes open to suggestion. This is where your thoughts stop being casual ideas and begin functioning like direct commands. Whatever you repeatedly imagine and emotionally feel in alpha starts imprinting itself deeper into your subconscious programming. If you visualize success with certainty, the mind begins aligning towards success. If you emotionally feel peace, the nervous system begins adapting to peace. If you repeatedly see yourself becoming disciplined, focused, and unstoppable, your identity slowly reshapes around those mental instructions. This is why controlling your thoughts is one of the greatest forms of power a human being can develop. The average person allows thoughts to wander everywhere without awareness. One moment they feel inspired, the next moment they mentally destroy themselves with doubt. Their mind becomes a battlefield because they never learned how to direct attention intentionally. But once you understand that thoughts are commands, you stop entertaining mental patterns that weaken you. You become more selective with what you repeat internally because you realize every repeated thought is building your future. Your subconscious mind is always working, always recording, always responding. Even when you think nothing is changing, internal conditioning is taking place. Every affirmation spoken with emotion leaves an impression. Every mental picture repeatedly visualized strengthens neural pathways. Every belief reinforced through repetition slowly becomes automatic behavior. This is how transformation happens, not through one dramatic moment, but through consistent mental commands impressed upon the subconscious over time. The moment you enter alpha and consciously choose your thoughts, you stop living accidentally. Instead of allowing fear, stress, and external negativity to control your mind, you begin planting intentional instructions within yourself. You replace limitation with possibility. You replace hesitation with certainty. You replace weakness with inner authority. Slowly, your actions begin matching your new programming because the subconscious always seeks to express what it believes most deeply. Once your thoughts become aligned with the reality you desire, your mind stops resisting your future and starts helping create it. Most people underestimate what can happen in 5 focused minutes because they have been conditioned to believe transformation must always take a long time. They think change requires years of struggle, endless motivation, or dramatic external circumstances before their life can improve. But the truth is that a single moment of deep mental alignment can become more powerful than years of distracted effort. One focused moment can interrupt fear. One focused moment can awaken belief. One focused moment can completely shift the direction of your mind. The problem is not that people lack potential. The problem is that their attention is scattered, divided, and constantly consumed by things that weaken their energy. The average person spends hours every day feeding distraction without realizing the damage it creates. Endless scrolling, negative conversations, emotional overthinking, worrying about situations outside their control. Their mind becomes overloaded with random information, yet almost no time is spent intentionally directing their inner state. Because of this, the subconscious continues operating from old patterns automatically. Days turn into months, months turn into years, and life keeps repeating the same emotional cycles. Not because transformation is impossible, but because focused awareness never lasts long enough to create new conditioning. 5 minutes of true focus changes that pattern. When you intentionally disconnect from noise and fully direct your attention inward, your energy begins gathering instead of scattering. The mind becomes concentrated. Thoughts slow down. Awareness sharpens. In those few minutes, you stop reacting to life and begin consciously influencing your inner state. That small shift is more powerful than most people realize because where attention goes, energy flows. A distracted mind weakens itself. A focused mind becomes magnetic, creative, and powerful. When you enter alpha level for even a few minutes, the subconscious mind becomes more open to suggestion and emotional imprinting. This means the quality of your focus during those moments matters deeply. If you spend those minutes visualizing fear, you strengthen fear. If you spend them replaying limitations, you reinforce limitations. But if you use those moments intentionally, everything begins changing internally. When you calmly visualize the reality you desire, while emotionally feeling it as real, your subconscious begins responding immediately. Neural pathways start shifting. Emotional states begin reorganizing. Your mind starts adapting to the identity you repeatedly experience within. Most people live unconsciously for 23 hours and 55 minutes every day, then wonder why nothing changes. But the person who learns how to intentionally use even 5 focused minutes begins creating a completely different internal reality. Those few minutes become a daily reset for the mind. Stress loses its control. Fear weakens. Clarity increases. Confidence grows stronger. Over time, those repeated moments of focused awareness create massive transformation because the subconscious responds to consistency more than intensity. A powerful mind is not built through occasional inspiration. It is built through repeated moments of intentional focus. Every day you enter alpha and direct your thoughts consciously, you strengthen new mental pathways. You train your mind to move toward peace instead of panic, toward certainty instead of doubt, toward creation instead of reaction. Slowly, your external life begins reflecting this internal shift. Your decisions improve. Your emotional control strengthens. Your energy changes. People begin noticing something different about you because your presence itself becomes more focused and grounded. 5 minutes may seem small to the outside world, but internally, it can become the turning point of an entirely new identity. A few minutes of conscious focus practiced consistently can accomplish what years of unconscious living never could. The person who masters their attention masters the direction of their life. The moment you stop giving your energy to distraction and start using focused awareness intentionally, you activate the deeper power that has been waiting inside you all along.